हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जना बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपी जना बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोधनंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यशोधनंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीर वनचारी। यमुना तीर वनचारी। यमुना तीर वनचारी। यमुना तीर जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधा वृंदावन चंद्र श्री राधे जय जगन्नाथ जगन्नाथ बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय गौरानिताय 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 श्री श्री गौरानिताय जय प्रभुपद 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 जय प्रभुपद ताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। So welcome everyone for today's Bhakti Shastri class. We'll go ahead for recitation. मंगलाचरण। ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णम् उदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगतां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीता मा गृधः कस्य स्विद्धनं कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेशतं समाह एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतो अस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे। असूर्यनाम ते लोक अन्धेन तमसावृताः तांस्ते प्रीत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये के चात्महनो जना। अनेजदेकं मनसो जवीयो नयनदेव आप्नुवं पूर्वमर्षत् तद्धावतो अन्यानत्येति तिष्ठत् तस्मिन्नपो मातरिश्वा ददाति तदेजति तन्नेजति तद्दूरे तदवन्तिके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वास्यस्य बाह्यतः। यस्तु सर्वाणि भूतान्य आत्मन्यवानुपश्यति सर्वभूतेषु चात्मानं ततो न विजुगुप्सते। यस्मिन् सर्वाणि भूतान्य आत्मैवा भूतविजानतः तत्र को मोहः कः शोक एकत्वम् अनुपश्यतः। सपर्यगा शुक्रमकाय अवर्णम् अस्नवीरम शुद्धम् अपापविद्धं कबीर्मनीषी परिभू स्वयंभू याथातथ्यतो अर्थान् व्यदधाश्वाश्वतीभ्य समाभ्ययः। अंधम तमः प्रविशन्ति ये विद्यामुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो यौ विद्ययामृताः। अन्यदेवाहुर्विद्यया अन्यदाहुरविद्यया इति शुश्रुमधीराणां येनस्तद्विचक्षिरे विद्यायां च विद्यां च यस्तद्वेदो भयं सः अविद्यया मृत्युं धृत्वा विद्यायामृतमश्नुते अंधं तमः प्रविशन्ति ये सम्भूतिमुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो यौ सम्भूत्यामृताः अन्यदाहुरसम्भवात् इति स्थिति शुश्रुमधीराणां ये नस्तद्विचक्षिरे सम्भूतिं च विनाशं च यस्तद्वेदो भयं सः विनाशेन मृत्युं धृत्वा सम्भूत्यामृतमश्नुते हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्यापि हितं मुखं तत्त्वं पूषणम् अपावृणु सत्यधर्माय दृष्टये पूषणे कर्षेयं सूर्यप्राजापत्य व्यूयः रश्मिन् समूह तेजो यत्ते रूपं कल्याणतमं तत्ते पश्यामि यो सावसो पुरुषः सोऽहमस्मि वायुरनीलम् अमृतम् अथेदं भस्मान्तं शरीरम् ॐ क्रतो स्मर कृतं स्मर क्रतो स्मर कृतं स्मर अग्नेनय सुपथाराय अस्मान् विश्वानि देव वयुनानि विद्वान् योध्य स्मद्जुह्राणमेनो भूयिष्ठां ते नम उक्तिं विधेम ॐ तत्सत् Okay, so we were discussing shloka number mantra 12. Just a minute. Just a minute. So this section was going on Asambhuti, Sambhuti. Mantra 12 talks about demigods as Asambhuti, and impersonalist, they are worshippers of Sambhuti, means absolute truth, and Asambhuti means they are worshippers of the people who are worshippers of temporary living entities who have been appointed as gods in this world. So that is Asambhuti, worshippers of demigods. So basically the worship of demigod is called Asambhuti, and worship of absolute truth as an impersonal Brahman is called Sambhuti. In mantra 13, anything other than Supreme Personality of Godhead somebody is worshipping, which is temporary, that is called Asambhuti, and worship of Supreme Personality of Godhead is called Sambhuti, in a proper way, worship. And then Asambhuti, 14th mantra says, knowledge of the material world. Knowledge of material world, about its creation, about its energy, about its demigods, proper knowledge as given in the Shastras. And that is called Asambhuti. And knowledge of the spiritual world, that is Sambhuti. So we should be knowing where we have to go. So that knowledge is Sambhuti. Okay, so this is a comparison. So today we will be continuing from where we left, mantra 12. So we are comparing this Sambhuti and Asambhuti. Okay. Andham tamah pravisanti ye sambhutimupasate tato bhuya iva te tamo yau sambhutyam prataha Those who are engaged in the worship of demigod enter into darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of impersonal absolute. Srila Prabhupada says that Asambhuti means no independent existence, like demigods are not independent, and Sambhuti means absolute personality of Godhead who is absolutely independent, Sarat. Then Prabhupada mentions that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, nobody can understand him, even Devas and Maharshis, they cannot understand him because they have been created by Krishna. Here the word is used that Sarvasaha, means the Krishna is the cause of all of these Deva Nam and Maharshi Nam. So how can they understand? So our material logic fails when we apply on the Lord. Like in material world, child is outcome from mother and father. Yes. So then the child can think my mother and father. When he grows, he can think my mother and father are also having some father and mother. It's like that. So material thinking is like that. So I have mother and father. So my mother and father must have mother and father. So and then they must have mother and father. So, but this does not apply to Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the cause of all causes. So therefore, these Devanam and Maharshinam, they misunderstand the Lord. So here it is mentioned how ahead that how they also misunderstand. Although they are endowed with great powers, their powers are limited, and thus it is very difficult for them to know how Krishna himself appeared by his own internal potency in the form of man. Means, Prabhupada mentions that they many times consider him like a human being. Okay, he is a human. Like we discussed last time, Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill. So Lord Indra thought that he is powerful, so he can be some percentage of power he must be having, and I will put all my power. So then I will be able to defeat him. So he did not understand that all power originates from Krishna. He did not understand that, or he forgot that thing actually. So this is a mistake which Devas do. They, like living entity also, humans, they also misunderstand Krishna as one of the demigods. So demigods also misunderstand, or they may forget this knowledge, and they may misunderstand that he is also one of us, maybe more powerful. So that is why Krishna is saying, Name vidu surgana prabhavam na maharshaya. And then Prabhupada talks about many philosophers and great rishis or mystics try to distinguish the absolute from the relative by their tiny brain power. And through negation, neti process, one can only approach till Brahman. Means absolute cannot have any form, because this form is so dirty and this form is so trouble creating. This form is temporary. So how can the Lord must have form? So then by negating all the material qualities of this material world, they come to understand that Lord is nirguna, no quality now. He does not have form, he does not have any quality. So by one's speculation, one can reach to this understanding, not beyond it. If somebody has to go beyond, then he has to get the mercy of the Lord. And that is a devotional service process. So definition of absolute is not, by negation is not complete. Yes, correct? Prabhupada writes here. Such negative definition leads one to create a concept of one's own imagination. He just makes a concept there, and then he says that formless and without qualities. Okay. So we learned from previous mantras, Lord is Saguna and Nirguna, both. Saguna means he has spiritual qualities, and Nirguna means he has no material qualities. Okay. Okay, done. See, the dependent demigod and great sages imperfectly consider him to be powerful demigod, and they consider the Brahman effulgence to be the absolute truth. Just see, this kind of misconception can be there even in the demigods, and even the here it's mentioned the rishis also. The sages, great sages also may consider they can imperfectly misunderstand the Lord, that they may think that absolute truth means impersonal Brahman. That is the highest absolute truth aspect. That is the absolute truth. And whatever form you are seeing of any God here, that is more powerful like demigod only. So they don't think that there is some Bhagwan aspect of absolute truth. They only think that impersonal aspect is the highest, and beyond that there's nothing. It means their knowledge have been tainted by Advaita philosophy. Advaita. Everything is one. There is no form. There is no shape. There is no quality in the Brahman. So they think this is the highest thing. But this is not the highest. This is the beginning, actually. Actually, when we negate all the material qualities, then we approach Brahman. And then our Brahman is Paramatma, localized aspect of Supreme Personality of Godhead, where one can purify one's intelligence by focusing on his different limbs. And the devotional service also basically starts from here, because one starts focusing on the Lord's different limbs, and then one gets some attraction towards him. That attraction to serve him, to please him, that comes in the mind of yogis. And further, if they get to associate with pure devotees, those who are Bhagavatas, so then they may enter into the devotional realm, fully pure devotional service. Otherwise, these yogis may come back to the impersonal understanding. Again, it is possible. So those who are Paramatma worshippers, they ultimately go to the Vaikuntha, and those who are Brahman, they simply lie in the spiritual sky. And those who are Bhagwan worshippers, they go to the spiritual planet, and there they enjoy with the Lord in different rasas. Okay. So here Prabhupada writes, but the devotees of Krishna, by dint of their surrendering unto him in unalloyed devotion, can know that he is the absolute person and that everything emanates from him. Such devotee continuously renders loving service unto Krishna, the fountainhead of everything. Okay. Then we also saw last time the demigod worshippers, they are nicely analyzed in the Bhagavad Gita. Here 20 to 23 slokas, 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So demigod worshippers are basically worshipping unnecessarily. Krishna says. So then why the Vedas mention their worship? All the Vedic literature, maximum part of Vedic literature is for demigod worship. Why? So then it is said that those who are godless materialist, for them to worship demigod is important, because otherwise they will never come to the fold of process of religion. First of all, what they want religion mixed with sense gratification. Give me some religion by which I can fulfill my materialistic desire, sense gratification. That religion I will accept. So therefore Vedas say, okay, come worship this God and fulfill your desire. So in this pretext of fulfilling their desire, the Vedas introduces the Bij mantra Narayana, because all the yagyas, they have Narayana and Bij mantra. So by chanting the mantra of Narayana, and slowly by learning from the Vedas or also associating with Brahmanas, they understand that the Narayana is a supreme person. Slowly they understand. And then they may inquire that, okay, after worshipping demigod, where I will go? I will go to the heavenly planet. So then Krishna says in this verse that I only establishes that Shraddha in the heart of demigod worshipper, that you should worship this demigod and with Shraddha, because without Shraddha, how can one worship anyone? Yes, some Shraddha has to be there, some faith has to be there. So that faith has been established by Krishna. And then demigod is pleased. So then who gives the benediction to his worshippers? Krishna says, I only give. So Krishna is standing behind, just to picturize in our mind, and then he is giving all the benefits which demigod worshipper is asking from demigod. Okay, give me one car, give me one good wife, oh, give me one good house. So then Krishna is giving from behind. Okay, take, give him. Like sometimes just like in the shops, Malik is there, and then he start asking, okay, so much demand has come, please send, kya dena hai, bhejo. So then the upper person, okay, take, give him. So like that, Lord Sri Krishna is behind everything. He is the cause of all causes. So he is giving the benediction. At last he says they are alpamedasa. They are. So first he say kamastastra hita jnana prapadante anna devata. Once whose mind becomes distorted by material desire, they go to the demigods. So it is not necessary to go to demigods. Yes. So then everyone should, either Vaishnava or non-Vaishnava, they must offer respect to demigod. Otherwise, it is offense, because they are appointed administrators of this universal management. So they are appointed. So then one should offer respect to them. Second thing comes that if somebody has material desire, then he can worship him with Shraddha and he can ask from him. But devotees need not. Why? Because devotees know that everything is given by Krishna. And those who go to demigod, they have material desire. So devotees also may have material desire. So then where they should go? Yes, they can go to Krishna. Mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udardi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Worship the Supreme Lord with tivrena, intense devotional service. Then one's desire can also fulfill. At the same time, Krishna's process of fulfilling desire is to purify our heart also. So both things happen simultaneously. We devotees can also, means we have experience. Anytime some desire comes in our life, and when Krishna fulfills that desire, then we also get some kind of prick in our life. And then we understand that Krishna fulfilled my desire, but I also got some suffering. So then we try to become purified, yes, by finishing of that desire from our heart. We think, okay, it's not required. So like, who says? Dhruva says. Dhruva Maharaj, he said, what is it? Swami Kritartho asmin varam nayache. After taking darshan of the Lord Vishnu, he said, Swami Kritartho, I have become Kritartha. I have become satisfied by your darshan. I don't need anything more. Earlier, I was looking for broken glass pieces or broken pieces of glass, which are useless, of no use. But now I have got a diamond. Your darshan is like a diamond, which is so costly, so rare. So I don't need anything else. So that is why, even though Upanishad is a part of, is a Veda, part of Vedas, and they are superior, you can say, than Vedas. They are Shirsha. So, but they are also saying that those who worship demigod, they go to the darker region, because they are seeing from the upper perspective that any worshipper has to properly worship the absolute and go to the absolute. Their purpose is this. And from that angle, they are basically saying that demigod worship is not good. It will take you to the repetition of birth and death, which is meaning you are going to the darker region. You will be ignorant of the spiritual truth. So you are in darkness. Yes. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada used to become very heavy many times. Even for those who are proper, something proper, he would not adjust with something substandard. Srila Prabhupada wanted everything should be Krishna conscious. He went to some where the Pahalwan, they were doing some all kind of lifting the boulders and doing some gym. So then Prabhupada said, oh, you are all, they were actually Hanuman worshippers. So Prabhupada said that you are all Hanuman worshippers. So Hanuman used to chant the name of Lord Ram. So you should also chant. Take the boulder and chant Jai Shri Ram. Take the boulder, another Jai Shri Ram. And then again do the push-up and then chant Jai Shri Ram. So Prabhupada would not adjust to any substandard. Even to the nationalism, to philanthropism, which are still Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita in 12th chapter, if somebody cannot follow regulatory principles regularly, at least let him become selfless. He should make some hospital, give some money to some donation center anywhere. But Prabhupada, he knows that ultimately Krishna, what does he want? He wants everyone to surrender to him. So Prabhupada would also say to them, what is the use of opening hospital and schools and all the, you can say, Annadan or Netradan or whatever dan, unless you connect it to Krishna. And that is what Ishopanishad is teaching us from beginning. Ishavasham, connect everything to God. It's a God-centered, live a God-centered life. Okay. So again, don't seek the temporary relief of our difficulty by worshipping demigods. We should worship the absolute truth. Okay, different way of reaching demigods, planets. We also read this, that scientists, they are trying to reach by Sputnik or spacecraft to demigod planets, which may not be successful, but the Vedic way is to worship them. Yanti deva vrata deva. So if you worship demigod, then you go to his loka. This is the Vedic process. But again, Prabhupada says, A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. Even if you go to Brahma Lok, you have to again come back, because all planets are temporary places. So then our shifting to another place is also temporary, because one thing is, before the planet finishes, our karma finishes, so we come down. And even if the karma is there, if the time has been over, like in cricket match, 50 overs are there. Even though the batsmen are there, they are not out. But after 50 over, you cannot play. You have to just leave the stadium. So in the similar way, even though karma is there, but now the pralaya has come. The time of dissolution has come. So now you have to wind up, finish, now come out. So many people die prematurely because their time has come now. Even though their bodies are well stout, they can live, but still now Supreme Lord has destined him to die at this time, so he will die. So then, Abrahma Bhonalu Punaravartino Arjuna Mam Upetyatu Konte Punarjanmana Vidyate. Again, the problems of life cannot be solved by reaching planets of demigod within the dark material universe, but by reaching effulgent kingdom of Godhead. So this also we discussed last time, that the problems cannot be solved by reaching. Like sometimes people say that we are in material world, earthly planet, and we may not have so much enjoyment, because Kali Yuga time is very short, and enjoyment resources are very limited, and we are very unfortunate. We have given up Vedic culture, so things are not pure. Okay, but even if we do some tapasya or worship demigod, and we may go to demigod loka, and we may get multiple times, 1,000 or 10,000 times greater enjoyment than on this earth, earthly planet, then Prabhupada is saying that will also not solve the problem. That will also not solve the problem. So the whole universe is covered by the gigantic material elements. It is just like coconut covered by the cell and half filled with the water. Since its covering is airtight, the darkness within is dense, and therefore the sun and the moon are required for illumination. Outside the universe is the vast unlimited Brahma Jyoti expansion, which is filled with Vaikuntha lokas. So we know that material world, it is a covering. It is like a Brahmand. It's an egg shape, anda, and it is covered by 7 or 8 layers. 7 layers are there, and then inside whole creation has been there. But the ocean, Garbhodak ocean, then Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu is sleeping on that, in the ocean, on the bed of Sesnag, and then from his navel, golden lotus is coming out, and from the golden lotus, Brahma is appearing. And then Brahma does tapasya for 100 human years. 100 human years? Yeah. For 100 years, he does tapasya. And then Lord Vishnu gives him realization and instruction how he can create material world. And he also instructs him what is the purpose. Means that is the time he gives him the Vedic, he initiates him with the Vedic knowledge. And then Brahmaji creates the different planetary system where he can place different living entities. And then he creates many people from his body, from his mind, from his heart, like this. Creation happened. So this is the material world. Devi Dham. This is called material world, means Devi Dham. The place where Devi, Durga Devi, or Mother Durga, she is the presiding deity. And then beyond the Devi is Mahesh Dham. Mahesh means in between spiritual world and material world, there is a place. That is Mahesh Dham, where Lord Shiva lives. That is this Shiva, and this Shiva who comes into this world, Sada Shiva, that is called Sada Shiva, who is beyond material world. So he also lives there eternally. And material world, the Shiva, his manifestation appears and disappears. And then beyond Mahesh Loka is a Vishnu Dham, Mahesh Dham. So Devi Dham, Mahesh Dham, and Vishnu Dham. And the topmost planet in the Vishnu Dham is a Golok Dham. That is a Golok Dham. Okay, just let me go ahead and we'll. Okay. The biggest and highest planet in the Brahmajyoti is Krishna Loka or Golok Vrindavan, where the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna himself resides. Lord Krishna never leaves Krishna Lok. So, Vrindavanam Padam Ekam na Gachati. Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Krishna Loka means Vrindavan only. Actually, that Krishna Lok, there is also top is Goloka, and then there Dwarka, Mathura, they are also there, but they are down. But topmost is a Vrindavanam, Golok. So all are connected actually there. He is omnipresent throughout the complete material and spiritual cosmic manifestation. This fact has already been explained in Mantra 4. So what is that Mantra 4? Anejadekam Manaso Javiyo. That Lord resides in his abode and nobody can catch him. And he's available everywhere also. He's all pervading. So Lord is present everywhere, just like a sun. He is situated in one place, just like a sun situated. Okay. So the problems of life cannot be solved simply by going to the moon planet or some other planet below it. Therefore, Sri Ishopanishad advises us not to bother with any destination within this dark material universe, but to try to get out of it and reach the effulgent kingdom of Godhead. Okay, now we'll be reading this section. Yes, who will read? Yes, Mukund Pad Prabhu. Are you there? Prabhuji, can you read? Worshippers of impersonal absolute.
Okay, so worshippers of impersonal absolute enter into still more darkest region of ignorance. In utter ignorance, the impersonalists support the atheist by stressing the impersonal aspect of the Supreme Lord. There are many pseudo worshippers who become religionists only for the sake of name and fame. Such a pseudo religionists do not wish to get out of this universe and reach the spiritual sky. They only want to maintain the status quo in the material world under the garb of worshipping the Lord. The atheist and impersonalist leads such a foolish pseudo religionist into the darkest regions by preaching the cult of atheism. The the atheists directly deny the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the impersonalists support the atheist by stressing the impersonal aspect of the Supreme Lord. Thus far, we have not come across any mantra in the Sri Ishopanishad in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead is denied. It is said that he can run faster than anyone. Those who are running after other planets are certainly persons, and if the Lord can run faster than all of them, how can he be impersonal? The impersonal conception of the Supreme Lord is another form of ignorance arising from an imperfect conception of the absolute truth.
Yes, go ahead.
How the impersonalists cheat the foolish persons who ignorant of Vedic wisdom. The ignorant pseudo-religionists and the manufacturers of so-called incarnations who directly violate the Vedic injunctions are liable to enter into the darkest region of universe because they mislead those who follow them. These impersonalists generally pose themselves as the incarnations of God to foolish persons who have no knowledge of Vedic wisdom. If such a foolish men have any knowledge at all, it is more dangerous in their hands than ignorance itself. Such impersonalists do not even worship the demigods according to the scriptural recommendations. In the scriptures, there are recommendations for worshipping demigods under certain circumstances. But at the same time, these scriptures state that there is normally no need for this. In the Bhagavad Gita 7.23, it is clearly stated that the results derived from worshipping the demigods are not permanent. Since the entire material universe is impermanent, whatever is achieved within the darkness of material existence is also impermanent. The question is how to obtain real and permanent life. The Lord states that as soon as one reaches him by devotional service, which is the one and only way to approach the personality of Godhead, one attains complete freedom from the bondage of birth and death. In other words, the path of salvation from the material clutches fully depends on the principles of knowledge and detachment gained from serving the Lord. The pseudo religionists who have neither knowledge or non detachment nor detachment from material affairs, the most of them want to live in the golden shackles of material bondage under the shadow of philanthropic activities disguised as religious principles. By a false display of religious sentiments, they present a show of devotional service while indulging in all sorts of immoral activities. In this way, they pass as a spiritual masters and devotees of God. Such a violators of religious principles have no respect for authoritative acharyas, the holy teachers in the strict disciplic succession. They they ignore the Vedic injunctions. Acharyopasana, one must worship the Acharya. The and Krishna's statement in the Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Ivam Parampara Praptam, the supreme science of God is received through the disciplic succession. Instead of mislead the people, in general, they themselves become so-called acharyas, but they do not even follow the principles of acharyas.
Okay. Okay, we have discussed a lot here. Prabhupada is speaking from here, yes. So impersonal worship. Again, Prabhupada is highlighting this fact again here. So there are two things, pseudo worshippers or pseudo religionists. This is one thing, and another thing is impersonalist. So basically the pseudo religionists, they do not know what Vedas say. They have never read Vedas. They have just seen somebody else following some process, or they may follow certain part of the Vedas by hearing from somebody. But their motives are just to become famous, to become God, and to also mislead people. And to help these people are the helps are provided by impersonalists actually. So the impersonalists are helping them. How? Already they are not having proper knowledge of God. Prabhupada gives the name here also, like these pseudo religionists are like nationalist, you can say. Nationalist and then philanthropist. So they are pseudo religionists. They may pose themselves as Masiha, or you can say like a social activist. Means they want to do something for the society, some good, caring activity, some donation activities. Like when we did not come to Bhakti earlier, so that time we used to watch all these things, like some people they are taking some poor child in their lap and then caring for, and many even YouTube ads also come. Okay, my child is like this, please give him some donate. Okay, these are something like, but some people have opened a full organization for this purpose only, caring for the people, and their caring is only for the body. They have no knowledge of the soul. So it's like similar thing, like demigod worship is given in the Vedas, but it is not necessary. But still, Ishopanishad is condemning it. Now, caring for people is important, But beyond caring for the people, you have to care for the soul of the people and connect the soul to the supreme soul. So therefore, their service is also condemned here. And they may sometimes worship some god, but these impersonalists, then they mispreach to them. They say that there is no God. You are God, we are God. Everybody is God. So we discussed earlier also that, like, one of the impersonalists used to say that, why are you opening temple? Open football stadium and play football. Eat meat and play football. So one preacher went to the London, Mayavadi preacher, and then he was feeling that he should smoke. So then somebody asked him, "Arey, you are a sadhu, how can you smoke?" So then he said, "What is this? Something good, something bad, everything is one." When you are very strong in your mind that this is very right activity, when you do it, that is right thing. When you are confused, it means you are in duality. So he used to say that if you are determined that you should smoke or eat meat, that is right activity. You should not worry about the consequences, because you are God and you can decide what you have to do. Why you should hear somebody? So like that, these impersonalists, they were mispreaching earlier and now also. So during the time of independence, when the British and before British, the Mughal came to India. So India, there is a worship of many demigods. So many times people also get confused that who is the supreme. So, and in Abrahamic religion, in Christianity, Judaism, and Muslim religion, so they have one God. Their philosophy is one God. We have to surrender to one God, either Christ or Allah, whatever. But in India, when somebody comes, he gets confused. Oh, there is Kali, there is Durga, there is even Durga has so many forms. And then Kartike, and then Indra, and then Chandra, then Surya. The more processes are performed of yagyas, the more names will come out of demigods. So then, who is the ultimate God? And many Puranas also, they confuse, because they say this is a supreme God, because they want to glorify that God, so that the worshipper do not go to the any other process. He should just worship this God. But again, mentioning the same thing, the whole Vedas have to be understood in a proper disciplic succession. Otherwise, it will be misunderstood. So the Vedas has written everything with this understanding that some guru will teach the disciple, or the person will go to guru and learn from him how to follow the Vedic process. But people, they don't go to the proper person. We last mantra we learned that there are many pseudo Vedavadarata. Vedavadarata is pseudo only. So they become leader, Smartha Brahmanas, Karmakandi Brahmanas. They become leader, and their leadership is not coming from disciplic succession, that they themselves have become leader, because they know some Sanskrit, how to juggle with the words of the Vedic literature using the grammar, Panini grammar or Sanskrit grammar. So then these people, they become the leader, and they misinterpret the Vedic literature. And they are very big leaders. They may be knowing so many shastras or so many knowledge they have, but they don't have knowledge from transcendental disciplic succession. And so they misguide people. So that is the thing. So then these people are one category. And here the impersonalist, they say, because we are, I was saying, I just forgot. I was saying that, this is the person went to the London, and then he said that I can do anything. So they consider themselves God. They don't want to hear anyone. So last slokas we learned that the Vedavadarata, who do not understand Vedas properly. And here, those who have read Vedas and worshipping impersonal truth, and they're misguiding people that you will become God one day, you will become Brahman one day, and there's no need of worshipping God, no need of growing tulsi, grow brinjal and eat brinjal, and you'll be healthy. Eat meat, you'll be healthy, because you will be able to do some work. So that work is more important than worshipping God. Because why to worship God? Because you are God yourself. So this is the Mayavad. Even God who comes into this world has material form. and his material form will be finished. Like even on the internet, there is mentioned that Lord Krishna's departure from this world, he has certain departure date also. Means he left his body. Yes, he left his body for those people who are atheist. Krishna does not changes his body. His body is constant. There is no difference between his body and soul. But he left body for those people who wants to get bewildered. So see, the Vedas mention impersonal truths. Impersonal truths are mentioned in the Vedas, but those who are impersonalists, they will take it like this is the highest thing. But the impersonal understanding in the Vedas is transitional. It is to just take us from atheistic, animalistic life to having some authority like demigod, and from demigod going to the absolute truth, talking about his nirguna form, formless entity who does not have any material form, and then taking him to the spiritual form. So this is whole journey is there. But if somebody is stuck in between, that absolute has no material form, absolute has no material qualities, so then he misunderstands that absolute has no qualities, no form. And then they preach that we will also become formless, we will also have no quality. So what is the value of considering in this world something good or something bad? Because everything is one ultimately. So why we should worry that much? So the Prabhupada is saying they cannot answer this fourth mantra, that how can Lord be impersonal? If he can run faster than demigods, then how can he be impersonal? He must be having some legs, then only is running faster. So Prabhupada is questioning their understanding. Where in the Isopanishad is said that the God is impersonal? But impersonal, they will say, Tadde jati, tanne jati. What is this? He is impersonal. But Prabhupada is saying it's not impersonal. He does not have material form. Yes. Okay. So in India, there's a progression from Buddha, Lord Buddha. He came into this world to teach Nirvana philosophy. Nirvana means all of are troubling in getting suffering in this material world. So better we should finish off this material body. And once we finish off this material body, then there will be no suffering, because material body is the cause of all suffering. So therefore, he preached this philosophy, Nirvana. And somebody asked Buddha that what about the soul and super soul? We have heard from Vedas. So he said, don't worry about it. Just focus on becoming moral person. Ahimsa. Ahimsa paramo dharma. Ahimsa is param dharma. Just focus on moral principles. Therefore, we find many teachings of the Buddhas, they are simply at the level of morality. Because he could not speak more about the soul or super soul, because he has to then take reference of the Vedic literature, and then his whole purpose would get defeated. He wanted to take people away from the Vedas, because people were misutilizing Vedas, and that was not the time to again teach them Vedas, because it was a very difficult time. They were killing all the animals. The Brahmanas, in the name of yagyas given in the Vedic literature, they were killing many animals. Therefore, even in fourth canto, we find in Prachanivari, he comes in the lineage of Dhruv Maharaj ahead. So he also was doing a lot of yagyas. And in all such yagyas, he was killing so many animals. And Narad Muni, he appeared to him and he told him, what are you doing? You are doing so many yagyas, and in every Vedic yagya, it's not that animal killing is mentioned, but those, the part where ignorance, like the some yagyas are in the mode of, like it is said that this is ignorance zone. So those yagyas which are having some mode of ignorance kind of process. So then in those yagyas, animal sacrifice are mentioned. It's not that in all sacrifices animal is mentioned. No, it's not like that. So then this king was only doing those kind of sacrifices. Like we are chanting Hare Krishna. This is also sacrifice, but are we killing some animal? No. And people also perform home. People also perform some shraddha. And so it's not that in every sacrifice there is killing of animal. But this king was performing a lot of sacrifices where killing of animal was there. And he was not concerned about higher knowledge, or somebody did not give it to him. So then Puranjan Upakhyan comes. Narad Muni first shows him full telecast of hell, that how he is going to suffer in the hell even after doing so many yagyas. So he became frightened. And then Narad Muni speaks to him Puranjan Prakhyan, where he explains everything, that how the living entity comes into this world and he gets trapped and then he gets next birth. It's a very nice allegorical or descriptive story is there. So there also it is not recommended because you are doing too much. And here we can see the Buddha, he did not want to again tell to these people that now you read Vedas properly. He said, stop Vedic literature. Now you should just follow what I say. So Buddha, he preached about zero. Let us become zero, finish off all identity. No identity, zero. Ultimately, you have to become zero because this material body is the cause of suffering. Become zero by doing tapasya, just meditate. And when you leave the body, then you will become formless. Zero, you will become zero. And then after this, Buddhism increased very much in India. Then came after that Shankaracharya. So Shankaracharya, there is a sloka, it is Madhya Lila. So he says to his wife, like Lord Shiva is saying to his wife, Mayavadam asat sastram prachannam bodham uchyate mayeva vihitam devi kalau brahmana murtina. In the age of Kali, I will come as a brahmana. And what I will preach? Prachannam bodham uchyate. Covered Buddhism. Buddhism is there and prachanna means covered. So I will preach covered Buddhism. Basically, covered means what? Buddhism, he preached that there is no God, there is no Vedas. Just follow me. And he says, God is there and we are that God. So he preached about zero, Buddha, and he preached about one. Everything is one. We and God are one. There's no difference between us and God. But one, he does not say that God has form. He says we are also formless. We are also formless. We have no qualities. Ultimately, we are also formless. So this is covered Buddhism. Actually, he is also preaching atheism only. There is no God. We are only God. Buddhism said there is no God, no Vedas. Just be moral. Like nowadays schools, they say, na, moral, morality. Just teach morality, secularism. Don't teach about God. So basically Buddhism philosophy. Okay. Then somebody will come tomorrow. He will read Vedas. After reading Vedas, he will preach that we are God. So now this Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So many CBSE schools, they have taken value education's commitment with, they have agreement with the Ramakrishna Paramahansa Society. This is the real fact, news. The CBSE schools, they have agreement with these Mayavadis to teach values. So what they will teach? They will teach one. God has no form. Ultimately same. God has no form, formless. So basically we are God. So we are God. So we are enjoying, we should enjoy more now because we are God. No restriction now. So this impersonalism, it kills our attitude of service toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And also it deprives the soul from higher taste of bhakti. Correct? Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavatam, first canto, first verse. I will just show you what Prabhupada writes. First chapter, first verse of first canto. So he writes here how this impersonalists have allowed people to take to the material life more, with more attraction, with more eagerness, and give up the spiritual life because of this impersonal preaching. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur specifically deals with the original and pure sex psychology. This is a first sloka of Srimad Bhagavatam. Janmadhyaschato Anvayat. So Adiras, devoid of all mundane inebrities. The whole material creation is moving under the principle of sex life. In modern civilization, sex life is a focal point of for all activities. Wherever one turns his face, he sees sex life predominant. Therefore, sex life is not unreal. Its reality is experienced in the spiritual world. The material sex life is but a perverted reflection of original fact. The original fact is in absolute truth, and thus the absolute truth cannot be impersonal. It is not possible to be impersonal and contain pure sex life. Consequently, the impersonalist philosophers have given indirect impetus to the abominable mundane sex life because they have overstressed the impersonality of the ultimate truth. So, yeah, these impersonalists, they say absolute has no form. So then people think he has no form, no activities, no leela, no qualities. So this world is appearing very nice. Why we should go to no zone? We should go to yes zone. Yes, even though this world is suffering, but it has so many varieties of enjoyment. So by their preaching, actually, Prabhupada says, indirect impetus to the abominable mundane sex life because they have overstated the impersonality of ultimate truth. Consequently, man without information of actual spiritual form of sex has accepted the perverted material sex life as all in all. There is a distinction between sex life in reduced material condition and spiritual sex life. So, we clearly know also that in spiritual world, there is no such sex life. In the third canto, 15th chapter, Kingdom of God, there is a clear mention. Brahmaji sees the spiritual world. How is it? The very beautiful women are there, and their husbands are there, but they're not attracted to their bodies. Rather, they're singing the glories of Lord Vishnu. They are flying in the same plane. So the illusion is created in this world about sex life. Now, why Prabhupada is saying about sex life? Actually, the real attraction between Sakti and Saktiman is there in the spiritual world. And we are also Sakti. And the highest Sakti is a Srimati Radharani. She is a full Sakti. And we are very tiny Saktis. So our attraction for Krishna and Radharani attraction for Krishna is there. So it's a similar, like it's a devotional connection. So here, what we think that somebody is a male, somebody is a female, and their attraction is sex life here in this world. Prabhupada is using the same terminology and telling there is spiritual sex. There is a attraction between the Purusha and Prakriti. The ultimate Prakriti is Srimati Radharani. And we are also Prakriti. So there is attraction between us and Krishna. But there is no such like biological function like here in this material like sex life. No, there is no creation in the spiritual world. Nobody is creating anything. Everything is already eternal. So there is no such, because all senses in the spiritual world are enlivened with the spiritual Chit Sakti, and there is the enjoyment in the every parts of the body. So there is no question of enjoying sex life there actually. So Prabhupada is telling this Adiras, the original sex life is there in the spiritual world, but this Mayavadis, they have preached that we should be interested here only, don't go there, by their philosophy of impersonalism. Okay. So I was mentioning about Lord Sankara. He came to preach Prachannam Bodham Uchyate. Prachannam means the hidden or the covered Mayavad, covered Buddhism. Then, so in Mayavad, there are two things, Vyavaharika and Paramarthika. Vyavaharika, they divide the truth in the Vedic literature in two ways, Vyavaharika and Paramarthika. The Vyavaharika means the Vedic literature speaks about the practical life knowledge, many instructions, how to live happily, how to conduct our dharma in a varnashrama. So these are called Vyavaharika truths. And then they say Paramarthika truth in the Vedic literature, those which are transcendental truths, like Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, I am not of this world. Tattvam Asi, Soham, I am that. So these are the Paramarthika truths. So whenever these Mayavadis, they come across such kind of truths, like Lord is performing some pastime, so then they say, oh, this is Vyavaharika. This is not Paramarthika. So they say that this form of Lord is Maya, and so he's playing with his devotees also Maya. Everything is Maya. So then they said this is the lower truth in the Vedic literature. You should go to the higher truth. That is, what is that? Paramarthika, Aham Brahmasmi. We have to become Brahman. So that is this is the way they basically they try to enjoy that part of the Vedas, which is talking more about impersonalism. They don't connect it, or neither they transcend that truth. They just want to remain there. And then they misinterpret the other part of the Vedic literature. So that is why the Acharyas, they very heavily, you can say, fight with this Mayavad. And this fight between Mayavadis and Vaishnavas have been going since time immemorial. All these fights. So Buddhism and Mayavad bring people to the zero level of access, means spiritualism. And then Ishopanishad or Upanishad, they are trying to take people from, see, negative means people are basically totally animal, and they come to the Vedic fold. Okay, they came to the Vedic fold by demigod worship, but still they are negative. Then these impersonalists, they are bringing to, I'm talking about impersonalist. I'm not talking about, again, see, there are two divisions between impersonalism. One is called Mayavad, one is called Brahmavad. So Brahmavadis are those who don't misunderstand that Lord had absolute truth does not have form. They think that we only know this much, that Lord impersonal feature we know. We don't know about personal feature. But Mayavadis, even though they do not know about personal feature, they blaspheme Lord, telling he has no personal feature. All personal feature is Maya. But Brahmavadis, they say, no, we want to focus on impersonal feature only. So this Brahmavadi, further they get liberation. But Mayavadis never get liberation. Mayavadis, they go to the hell, actually. They go to hell, or they take birth in the form of trees. But these Brahmavadis, so these Brahmavadis, they take spirituality to the zero level. Means, okay, at least person came to understand that we are not material products. We are not made up of matter. Then comes the Upanishad. Upanishad connects the soul to the absolute truth. Means they are trying to take the person from negative, from demigod worship, uplifting to the positive zone. They are not simply stopping at impersonalism. They are also telling about Tadde Jati, Tanne Jati, he is also moving, but still not emphasizing on Krishna's form or Krishna's abode. They are still leaving the person there only. And then comes the Puranas, like Ramayana is their Itihas, and then Mahabharata, or you can say Srimad Bhagavatam. So Puranas, they clearly mention the pastime and Lord's activities, and whole truth of the Vedic literature. So then they take the person from there to full positive zone, to the spiritual world. So this is important thing. Okay. So after Shankaracharya came Ramanujacharya. So Shankaracharya preached the philosophy of Advaita. Advaita means non-dual. Advaita means non-dual, means Lord Supreme is one only. There is no second Supreme. And we are that Supreme. We are also one. So Advaita, non-dual. There is no two person, only one person. Then Ramanujacharya preached Visishta. Visishta Advaita. Visishta Advaita means no. There is something difference is there. Visishta Advaita means some wishes, some qualities are matching, but some difference is there. Advaita means there is together Advaita, and Visishta Advaita means Vishesha. There is something Vishesh is there in the Supreme, and something we are not having that. So something Vishesh is there in the Supreme. So then he said that like soul and body are there, and then the Paramatma is there. They are all living in this body, but there is a difference is there. Paramatma is not in Moha, but the soul is in the Moha. Soul is in the Moha, but Paramatma is not in Moha. So therefore, there is difference is there. So he said like that. Okay. And then came Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya is like this. He always held his finger like this. Two. Never bring living entity together with absolute. He's always separate, and absolute is separate. So you find the picture of Madhvacharya like this. Two. दो. कभी बीच में दोनों को साथ में मत लाओ, नहीं तो मध्वाचार्य की डांट खाने को मिलेगी. So Madhvacharya was a very heavy preacher of very revolutionary, or you can say very terrific preacher. He used to just break the teeth of Mayavads. Even Ramanujacharya did not preach that much heavily as much as Madhvacharya has preached it. And he came later after Ramanujacharya. So he told about Dvaita. Both are separate. Dvaita, no Advaita. Dvaita. Both are separate. And then he said about the Jeev, Jagat and Jagdish. Jiva is there, Jagat is there, and Jagdish. Like we say that matter, Jiva, and controller of both. So matter and Jiva and controller of both. This is Prabhupada also says this is a same thing. Jeev, Jagat, and Jagdish. So he totally distinguished between both. But then, like Sankaracharya said, everything is one, and Mayava said everything is two. Madhvacharya said. So then, both of them took to the different extreme only. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually really balanced it by saying it's a Achinta Veda Veda. Achinta Veda means there is a difference between living entity and the Lord. Veda. Abhed means there is no difference. So, but it is Achintya. You cannot come to know. It's inconceivable. It's inconceivable. Therefore, many pastimes when you see like Lord Panduranga, you see on the head of Panduranga there is something that is Sivling. Now some person of Shiva worshipper, when he sees this, Sivling means who is greater? Shiva is greater. When he sees on the head of Panduranga there is Sivling, and then he says that Shiva is greater. So this is Achinta. The pastime of the Lords are Achinta. Just by seeing with your eyes, you cannot assume anything. Lord loves his devotee more than himself. He can put his devotee on his head also. But it does not mean that means the God has not kept a scripture for you to concoct and write that, okay, now you will come tomorrow and write that, okay, Shiva is on the head of Panduranga means who is great? Shiva is great. Yes, Krishna will say Shiva is great. Why? Because he's a devotee. Vaishnava Namyatha Sambhu. But devotee should not misunderstand this truth. Yes, like when in third canto, when 4 Kumaras came to the door of Vaikuntha, so Vishnu glorified them so much that somebody can misunderstand. Brahmanas are supreme. Brahmanas are superior than even Lakshmi and even Vishnu also. If you read those statements, it appears like that, but it is not like that. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was writing commentary, and then he said that Lord Vishnu is joking. The Lord Vishnu also jokes. They were joking with these Brahmanas that you are so supreme, that even all the auspiciousness which is coming on me is because of all of you. The Lakshmi is there on my chest because of all of you. So much glorification. These all Brahmanas who were very much offended by the activities of the Jai and Vijay. By hearing so much glorification, they got totally bewildered. What to do? This is the way how the Lord Vishnu just takes the person in his own realm. This person got offended by the man of Vishnu and how he glorified so much that this person got bewildered. He's the absolute truth. He's glorifying us so much means these all words are truth. So, but how they are truth? The Vedas say something else and he's saying confusion. So therefore, Achintya. The Lord's pastime, the Lord's activities are Achintya. Actually, therefore, it is a Achinta Veda Ved. Something we can understand that how we have 80% qualities with the Supreme Lord, but sometimes Lord behaviors are very difficult to understand. Sometimes it is living entity working more powerful than, like Hanuman is jumping and flying across the ocean, and Lord Ram has to build the bridge to go to the next side. Then somebody can misunderstand that Lord has less power and Hanuman has more power. It's Achintya. Sometimes Lord empowers his devotee more than himself. So Achinta Veda Veda Tattva. So yes, we have also discussed earlier about Mayavad, how it came into India, and it went inside the religion zone and nationalism zone. So this I think I have discussed earlier. So that this is what Prabhupada is also saying, कि pseudo religionists, they were supported by Mayavad. Okay, we'll go ahead. So Prabhupada mentions here, Acharya Pasanam. One must worship the Acharya. This they don't regard. And Evam Parampara Praptam. These two things. Who? Such violators of religious principle have no respect for authoritative acharyas. So these are impersonalists as well as pseudo-religionists. Impersonalists who are envious demons in garb of religious propagandists shall be thrown into darkest region of hell. These rogues are the most dangerous element. See, what a heavy statement Prabhupada is writing here. These rogues are the most dangerous elements in the human society, because there is no religious government. They escape punishment by the law of the state. They cannot, however, escape the law of Supreme, who has clearly declared in the Vedic Bhagavad Gita that envious demon in the garb of religious propagandist shall be thrown into the darkest region of hell. 16.9 to 20. See, Ishopanishad confirms that these pseudo-religionists are heading towards most obnoxious place in the universe after the completion of their spiritual master business, which they conduct simply for sense gratification. So Prabhupada is saying they are becoming spiritual master, Jagat Guru, Sadguru. But do not worry, your Guruship will end. After your Guruship will end, you will go to hell. Okay. Any question related to the topic? Yes. Harsha Prasannatma Prabhu, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji, thank you for so much enlightening lecture. My question is related to this Mayavad philosophy, as you have explained. Prabhuji, my question is that if we meet some Mayavadi who is giving us the Mayavadi philosophy, so how to preach them, or how to cultivate them to turn into Krishna consciousness, or we should just give them sadham, or how to handle them? If we are being affected by the philosophy, then how to handle them?
see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took different ways to convert Mayavadis. Those who are very, very core, hardcore Mayavadis, it requires very great amount of mercy to convert them. It's not very easy. Therefore, in the scripture, it is said, it is the last snare of Maya. To think oneself as God is the last snare of Maya. So it is very tough. And even Jiva Goswami says, or Rupa Goswami says, this moksha kama, moksha iksha, pisachi, this witch of desiring for becoming one with the Lord, it is the most dangerous. Somebody is atheist, he is not that much condemned than a Mayavadi, because he is the greatest, he is a rogue here. Prabhupada is saying he is doing greatest disservice, because he is mispreaching, misinterpreting the Vedic literature in the name of becoming a Jagat Guru or spiritual master. So prasadam giving is very, very good thing to them. One should give them prasadam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted Prakashananda Saraswati just by showing his humility, and then with some discussion with him. But again, he was the supreme personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada came across Mishra in foreign, and then Patel in India. They were all Mayavadis. So Prabhupada also, we could read some discussion of Prabhupada conversation. So very heavy discussion. And it's not that much core Mayavadis are there nowadays. So in next month I will learn that there is a mixing of sinful tendencies with Mayavad. Like Shankaracharya never said that you should commit sinful activity by eating meat. Everything is Brahman. He did not teach this thing. But now this Mayavad nowadays, it has become degraded. So they want to do some social activity. Shankaracharya did not speak about social activity. He's talking about Aham Brahmasmi. He's telling the Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. This world is Mithya. Why you are too much entangled in this world? But nowadays Mayavadis have derived of their own philosophy, like this Christians. So what Jesus taught and what are there today? There's a difference, lot of difference. Prabhupada used to always chastise the Christians also. Thou shalt not kill, but again you're killing. So even if they follow Shankaracharya, they will advance to a certain degree. They will not do at least some sinful activities. But yes, this is a transitional thing. They have to go to the personal aspect of the Lord. Whatever they have understanding, they have to re-clarify it from the Acharya, disciplic succession. And then, therefore, we find even in the Leela of Ramanujacharya, when his guru, then he was saying that one description is there in the scripture where he says that the Lord's eyes are like monkey, kapi. But then Ramanujacharya he was having tears in his eyes when he heard from his guru the statement, because his statements were affected by Mayavad. So devotees, they become affected when they hear Mayavad. So therefore, one should not hear Mayavad. Mayavadi bhasa sunle hoy sarvanas. So one should be very careful, unless one is very strong preacher and he has a lot of compassion and he has full understanding of philosophy. Unless he is very strong, one should not try to directly confront them. We should see the situation, how much is a strong person. Is a very strong, then we should leave it, give them prasadam, because by discussion you cannot change. Nowadays people don't get changed by discussion. Earlier people were having some sanctity that if they get defeated they will submit. They were having certain kind of dignity in their philosophy, in their identity. Okay, I am now defeated, let me surrender. Prabhupada therefore used the word rascal again and again. Rascal. What do you mean by rascal? This only. Again and again. Even if you are convinced, you are not surrendering. Rascal. Scientists, even if they are convinced through Vedic scripture that the science is all false, they are just speculating the truth. Even after convincing them, also they will not surrender. They will say, no. We are going to discover something new, deathless. We will make you deathless tomorrow. Even after knowing that you cannot be, they will not listen. Therefore, Prabhupada is to use the word rascal. So if they read Prabhupada book, they will become changed. Rascal. So hand over Prabhupada book, hand over prasadam, bring to temple, let them change slowly. Like in our temple, many Mayavadis also come with all bhasma. We don't preach to them. Just let them take the darshan of the Lord. Slowly they will get changed, because very difficult to change them. Okay. Next.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
sorry, I was disconnected in between due to some call, due to some urgent. Prabhuji, just last question, that while giving them or distributing books, Srila Prabhupada books, we have to explain something about that, or we just give them books and no
Okay,
need to
this is
explain
personal,
anything.
like question. Okay. We should explain. It depends upon devotee and different devotees. Some devotees, they keep on distributing different books and just take books, and by seeing the face of devotee, by seeing his conviction, people take. Some devotees, they say, why are you speaking so much? Just give books, show him books, so speak 1-2 words. If he's not taking, go ahead. This is all experience based, actually. If somebody is having experience of that I should explain, I should tell him what is there, then he should do that. Therefore, some mantra, in last some lecture, I spoke one incident that some devotees came to Prabhupada and then told, shall we explain to all the devotees how to distribute books? Prabhupada said, no. You just inspire them to distribute books. Devotional service is voluntary, spontaneous. Yes, and it's a voluntary, spontaneous, and it's an individual, actually. Let them then decide how they want to do. So if you are feeling inspired by explaining to somebody what is given in Prabhupada book, you should do it. If you are able to sell more books, or even if less also, but you are satisfied that I am explaining this thing to others. So this is good, actually. One should be satisfied after distributing books. It's not that I have distributed so many books, and then in our heart, we are feeling that I don't know about these books, what is there in the books. If you know, you explain. But again, the mission also has to be kept. We should also distribute books. It's not that you are explaining 5 hours and then the person says that I don't want to take. Then one has to balance both. Correct? Yes, Mataji. Dr. Prerna Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, you just explained very nicely about the Dvaitvad, Advaitvad, and you said that Madhvacharya was strong Advaitvadi, right?
Madhvacharya Dvaita philosophy, Dvait.
Dvait, that means two, na?
Two.
Not same. So
Hmm.
we come in Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So say that same Madhvacharya is Madhva.
Yeah, same. So that's
Then
why
we
this line has got changed. See, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya, this Gaudiya Sampradaya started from, it's already there, transcendental, it's eternal, but Madhven Puri, he brought that love of Radha and Krishna, in spontaneous love of Radha and Krishna, he brought that seed. And from him only, the whole parampara got different rasa. Madhvacharya is simply considered about two. But now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are Gaudiya, we are worshippers of Radha Rani. So then this whole got changed after Madhven Puri. But the whole sampradaya is like that. Therefore, many times Madhvacharya's followers also, they say, you are not from our sampradaya. Why you take the Madhvacharya name? No. We take the name of Madhvacharya because Madhvacharya has one disciple, Vyasa Tirtha, and then Lakshmipati Tirtha. Lakshmipati Tirtha initiated Madhven Puri. And so he had a guru. But the Lord can inspire any disciple also in a different way. And then he can continue the disciplic succession. It is like that.
So, and although we are in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, and it is come in the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya, still, because it was initiated by Madhavendra Puri, the seed, Vishishta Advaitavad, which we follow simultaneously, one and different.
No, sorry. This Vishishta Advaita is given by Ramanujacharya. Our philosophy is Achinta Veda Abhed.
Achinta Veda Abhed Tattva. Okay.
Yes.
So still, although we come in the same sampradaya, we don't follow the Dvaitavad, right? In Madhvacharya,
Yes.
we are in the Madhvacharya disciplic succession, but still, as you explained that Madhavendra Puri was initiated by Lakshmipati Tirtha, and Madhavendra Puri has brought this seed still, so we are following the Achinta Veda Tattva and not the Dvaitavad. Am I right, Prabhu? I just wanted to clarify.
Correct. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took, like, this is all Brahma Sampradaya. Madhvacharya Sampradaya is a Brahma Sampradaya. Ramanujacharya is a Sri Sampradaya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took one item from all the four Sampradaya, and he established this Gaudiya Sampradaya very nicely. So we have a best of all, you can say. So we don't say that we are not following Dvaita. It's not like that. We are following the Vedic literature and with a proper perspective, like Achinta Veda. We don't say that living entity totally separate, but we also say that yes, living entity is separate in quantity, but in quality they are one. So this is Achinta Veda Tattva.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Arun Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Like my question was like you were telling that Lord Buddha told about Nirvana, and it means that the suffering soul is due to body, and if we end the body, it will suffering soul end. Like people in Buddhism, they say like Lord Buddha has said, whatever we are able to perceive from our senses, it exists. Like हम लोग कैसे रीजन देते हैं that हवा दिख रही है क्या, but है नहीं, but हवा होती है, तो भगवान दिख नहीं रहे लेकिन भगवान होते हैं. तो they say कि Buddha has said कि हवा बह रही है तो हमारी स्किन को टच होती है, हम महसूस कर पा रहे हैं, लेकिन भगवान को हम महसूस कर पा रहे हैं क्या? तो भगवान नहीं होते लेकिन हवा होती है. So they give explanations like this if we talk with them. So like what is the exact explanation for this? That we can say that disciplic succession है, लोगों का जीवन बदला है, और we can see acharyas who have seen God, उन्होंने भगवान को देखा. If we purify, then we can also see. So then they won't believe. So how to like explain or understand this thing in a proper perspective?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said they are Nastic. Nastic means they are non-theist. They have rejected Vedic literature. So first thing, anything you want to bring to their understanding is first the Vedas. Whatever we say, they will say from, see, whatever you will say, they will say from where you are saying. You will say Bhagavad Gita. You say, I don't consider Bhagavad Gita. So then, gone. So they are on the moralist platform, and nowadays the things are mixing. Don't think that what they are preaching now is, or what they are understanding now is the same what Buddha has preached. Now everything is mixing actually. They see wherever more publics are going, so then they take their philosophy and combine it, and then they are preaching. So these things are also there. Therefore, I said, they are not, nowadays core Mayavadi will not find. They are also mixing many things. So internally, they are impersonalist or Buddha followers, but externally they may pose that they are also considering that there is a God, everything is there, but internally they are not convinced. Internally, conviction means they must surrender to Krishna. They must surrender to absolute truth. That is the whole process. So just give them prasadam, same thing, and give them Prabhupada books to read. And if possible, discuss some philosophy. If you understand that they are not listening, then leave them. We should be very much careful that without understanding our philosophy very nicely, if you try to confront with those who are very hardcore people from their sampradaya, then we may get converted. This has happened to very many people also. So we should not waste our time. There are many ignorant people who know little about scriptures, who have been totally been suffering in their life. So we should serve them by preaching Krishna consciousness rather than trying to convert these people. You can convert when you will take sannyas and will become very strong devotee, then catch one Buddha philosophers and then convert them. So,
thank you, Prabhuji. One more question.
I think we should go ahead, please. 1 minute.
Short question, Prabhuji.
No.
Regarding yes,
you may ask later. Time is very less. Let us go ahead.
Yes.
So now we'll go to the sloka 13. Anyadevahu sambhavad anyadahu sambhava asambhavat iti shushrum dhiranam yenastad vichachakshire. It is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and that another result is obtained by worshipping what is not supreme. All this is heard from undisturbed authority who clearly explained it. Same thing, dhira, dhiranam, dhiranam. So this word, so one has to take the knowledge from dhira. So dhiranam means, we last time Srila Prabhupada explains that dhira means one is not bewildered materially. With material illusion, he is not bewildered. He is knowing the truth of soul entering into the body, soul living in this body, and soul living going out of this body. He is not bewildered in all such phases. So he does not misconcoct the truth. Okay, we will become deathless tomorrow. No immortality. Immortality is not possible in this world. Immortality is already there with the soul. So then we have to raise our consciousness, or we have to come to the level of Aham Brahmasmi. And then further it will surely go that I am Krishna Das. So until we come to the level of Aham Brahmasmi, we cannot be immortal. And until we come to the level of Aham Krishna Das, we cannot go to the spiritual world. So it is important. So Dhira, he does not try to live in this world in an immortal way. He just manages everything to live peacefully, happily, and then he prepares for going back to Godhead. That is the Dhira's job. And that's why they can't be bewildered. Okay. Hearing from undisturbed authorities versus self-made spiritual master. Who can read? Yes, Jayanand Krishna Prabhuji, can you read?
Sure, Prabhu. Purport. In this mantra of Sri Ishopanishad, the system of hearing from the undisturbed authorities is confirmed. Unless one hears from the bona fide Acharya, who is never disturbed by the changes of material world, one cannot have the real key to the transcendental knowledge. The bona fide spiritual master who has also heard the Shruti mantras or Vedic knowledge from his undisturbed Acharya never manufactures or presents anything which is not mentioned in the Vedic literature. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said that the worshippers of the Pitras or forefathers reach the forefathers. The gross materialists who make plans to remain here in this world remain here. And the devotees of the Lord who worship none but Lord Krishna, the supreme cause of all causes, reach him in his abode in the spiritual sky. Here also in Sri Ishopanishad, it is said that the different results are achieved by different modes of worship. If we worship the Supreme Lord, certainly we will reach the Supreme Lord in his eternal abode. And if we worship the demigods like the sun and the moon, we can reach these respective planets without any doubt. And if we want to remain here on this wretched planet with our planning commissions and our stopgap political adjustments, we can certainly do that also.
Okay.
Nowhere in
So just 1 minute. Yes. So here Srila Prabhupada is again re-stressing the fact that to whom we worship, the same abode will approach. And bona fide, one should hear from the bona fide Acharya. Shruti mantra. The bona fide spiritual master who has heard the Shruti mantra from his undisturbed Acharya never presents anything that is not mentioned in the Vedic literature. So this is the thing. He does not concoct. He says what is given in the Vedic literature. Now Prabhupada is quoting one thing that now Prabhupada, because here he wants to talk about one theme here. One result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause, and another is by worshipping not supreme. Okay, so now he is basically want to describe one thing, that the results are different. Don't think that same result will be achieved by worshipping Sambhuti and Asambhuti. So this misconception he wants to clear, because in India, this is a common saying that whomsoever you worship, you will go to the Supreme only. That's why Prabhupada is clarifying now. We should hear from Dhira, and one Vedic statement he is giving here from Bhagavad Gita, that those who worship Pitras or forefathers or planets of forefathers and demigods, they go to that lokas. So that is saying. And stopgap solution. What is that? Stopgap political adjustment. Planning commission. Prabhupada says, if you want to remain here only, remain politician and pass out so many bills, so many resolutions, so many scientific development you want to do in the name of material advancement. So then you can do that also. Krishna will provide that. So again, you will be reborn. So stopgap political adjustment means after some time again some problem will come. You will adjust today, tomorrow again some problem, because we are not leading our life in a God conscious way. Okay. Anuradha Mataji, can you read from here? All paths.
Okay, Hare Krishna Mata. All paths lead to the same goal. Foolish theory offered by self-made spiritual masters. Nowhere in authentic scriptures is it said that one will ultimately reach the same goal by doing anything or worshipping anyone. Such foolish theories are offered by self-made spiritual masters who have no connection with the parampara, the bona fide system of disciplic succession. The bona fide spiritual master cannot say that all paths lead to the same goal and that anyone can attain this goal by his own mode of worship of the demigods or of the supreme or whatever. Any common man can very easily understand that a person can reach his destination only when he has purchased a ticket for that destination. A person who has purchased a ticket for Calcutta can reach Calcutta but not Bombay. But the so-called spiritual masters say that any and all paths will take one to the supreme goal. Such mundane and compromising offers attract many foolish creatures who become puffed up with their manufactured methods of spiritual realization. The Vedic instructions, however, do not upload them. Shall I continue?
Okay. So here it is very clear. We keep giving this example in our preaching also, that if we have ticket of Mumbai, if somebody is traveling from Delhi and he has ticket of Mumbai, so he will go to Mumbai. He will not go to Calcutta. So why? Because you will catch the different train for Calcutta and you will catch another train for Mumbai. So Srila Prabhupada is mentioning this same thing, but so-called spiritual masters say that any and all path will take one to supreme goal. So sometimes people say that the God is all pervading, so God can be approached whatever path you take. Yes, if God is all pervading and whatever path somebody is going, he should approach God. But the question here is not that because God is all pervading, you can go to him immediately by any path you choose. The question is here whether God has sanctioned that path to approach to him. Because we just now in previous sloka mantras we read that God cannot be approached by ourselves. We need mercy of him. Yes, we need some bona fide path, and we are hearing here. We need to hear from the Vedic literature, from Dhira person, to know how to reach to the God. So it's not that God is all pervading, so you can apply any method and then you will reach to the God. No, you have to again follow the process given by God. This is important thing, even though he's all pervading. By hearing from Dhira, one can become a devotee of Krishna and understand right principle of Bhagavad Gita without being misled by false theories. Yes, Bhakti Leela Devi Dasi Mataji. Can you read? Unless one has received.
Yes, Prabhuji. I'm reading from book. Is it fine?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Unless one has received knowledge from the bona fide spiritual master, one who is in the recognized line of disciplic succession, one cannot have the real thing as it is. The Bhagavad Gita says, thus, O chastiser of foe, the yoga principle of the Gita were known to the great king, but the parampara system being broken, and these principles appear now to be lost. When the Lord Sri Krishna was present in this world, the Bhakti Yoga principle defined in the Bhagavad Gita had become distorted, and so the Lord had to re-establish the disciplic system, beginning with Arjuna, who was the most confidential friend and the devotee of the Lord. The Lord clearly said to Arjuna that it was because he was his devotee and friend that the principle of the Gita were understandable to him. In other words, no one can understand the Gita who is not a devotee and friend of the Lord. This means that the only one who follows the path of Arjuna can understand the Gita. At the present moment, there are many interpreters of this sublime dialogue who have nothing to do with Arjuna or Lord Krishna. They interpret the verses of the Bhagavad Gita in their own way and postulate all sorts of rubbish in the name of Gita. Such interpreters believe neither in Sri Krishna nor in his eternal abode. So, then what can they explain about the Bhagavad Gita? The Gita clearly says that only those who have lost their senses worship the demigods. Krishna ultimately advises that one should give up all other ways and modes of worship and fully surrender unto him only. Those persons who are cleansed of all sinful reaction can have such an unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord. Other will continue hovering over the material sphere with their paltry ways of worship and thus will be misled from the real path under the false impression that all path leads to the same goal. In this mantra, the Sanskrit word. Can I read?
We'll discuss now. Okay, we'll discuss now. So, again, Prabhupada is re-emphasizing the point. By hearing from Dhira, one can become a devotee of Krishna and understand the right principle. So, Bhaktyamam Abhijanati, that is one sloka. And he also says that Bhakto Asi me Sakha Cheti Rahasyam He Taduttamam. Krishna says to Arjuna, because you are a devotee and you're my friend, so therefore you're non-envious and I'm explaining the truth to you. So this knowledge has to be taken in parampara. Evam parampara praptam. So the devotee should be there to take the knowledge, and the spiritual master should be Dhira, he should be in disciplic succession. He must have heard the Shruti mantra from his spiritual master. Then the knowledge is properly carried forward from spiritual master to disciple. And this is a way of understanding Vedic literature. So one time Srila Prabhupada was approached by a man and he then said that, Prabhupada, I heard in India people say that whatever you do, you'll go to Supreme. Prabhupada said, then why Krishna spoke such big Bhagavad Gita, 700 slokas? He could have just said, just whatever you are doing, it is very good, my dear sons and daughters. Be happy, remain happy, and you will approach me at the end of life. He never said like that. He has spoken so many things. So there is a contrasting thing. Therefore, these all mantras are speaking about different results are obtained by different worship. So Bhagavad Gita in 3.31, if you see, and then 3.32. 31 and 32. So we'll just see here. See what Krishna is saying. We'll not read the sloka. Those persons who execute their duties according to my injunction and who follow this teaching faithfully without envy become free from bondage of fruitive actions. Yes. So those who execute their duty according to Krishna's injunction and who follow this teaching faithfully, which he has explained beforehand. So ye me matamidam nityam anutishtanti manava shraddhavanto anusuyanto without envy muchante te api karmavi. They will be free from all karmas. And then what he says here, ye tva etad abhyaswanto nanutishtanti ye me matam sarva jnana vimudham stan vidhi nashtan achetasah. But those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. So clearly Krishna mentions in these two verses, if you follow, what happens? What is the result? If you don't follow, what is the result? Then we'll also go to next here. Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatpara samyatendriya jnanam labdva param santim achirana adhigacchati. So here also Krishna says, a faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge. And having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. Controlling senses and having faith in the knowledge. Then one should cultivate knowledge. And then what happens? He will attain peace. And if he does not do so, what happens? Agyascha asadadhanascha samshayatma vinashyati nayam loko asti na paro na sukham samshayatmana. What he says? But ignorant and faithless person who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Again, contrast. Means he is saying, what if you do this thing, what will happen? And if you are agyas asadadhana, you are samshayatma, then vinashyati. Here also in this we know, ya shastra vidhim usrajya vartate kamakarta. If somebody is not following the scriptures and just following his own whims, material desire he had in his heart, and just trying to fulfill, so then what happens? He attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. He will not attain anything. Then again Krishna says ahead, tasma sastram pramanam te. So one should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by regulation of scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulation, one should act and he may gradually be elevated. So here also he's saying you will be elevated if you follow scriptures. And there behind this one look back, what he's saying, that you will be losing everything. Nothing will be there, no happiness in this world or in next world. So how the Vedic scriptures are teaching us the contrasting thing. So if you catch that one train, you will go to different goal. And if you catch another train, you will go to different goal. So this is how Prabhupada is telling here, that you cannot reach to the same abode of the Lord by following any process you want. Yes, who can read now? Anurag Prabhu, are you there? Okay. Nisha Ram Krishnan, Mataji, are you there? ठीक है, मैं ही पढ़ता हूँ अभी. Okay. In this mantra, Lord Krishna is original personality of Godhead, source of spiritual and material world. In this mantra of Sri Ishopanishad, the word Sambhavat, by worship of the supreme cause, is very significant. Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and everything that exists has emanated from him. In the Bhagavad Gita 10.8, the Lord says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhav samanvitah. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Here is a correct description of the Supreme Lord given by the Lord himself. The word Sarvasya Prabhavaha indicate that Lord is Krishna is creator of everyone, including Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And because these three principal deities of material world are created by Lord, the Lord is the creator of all that exist in material and spiritual worlds. In the Atharva Ved, Gopal Tapani Upanishad 1.24, it is similarly said, he who existed before creation of Brahma and who enlightened Brahma and Vedic knowledge is the Lord Krishna. Similarly, in Narayan Upanishad, states, then the Supreme Person Narayan desired to create all living beings. Thus, from Narayan, Brahma was born. Narayan created all the Prajapatis. Narayan created Indra. Narayan created the 8 Vasus. Narayan created 11 Rudras. Narayan created the 12 Adityas. Since Narayan is the plenary manifestation of Lord Krishna, Narayan and Krishna are one and the same. The Narayan Upanishad also states that Devaki son Krishna is the Supreme Lord. The identity of Narayan with the Supreme Cause had also been accepted and confirmed by Sripad Sankaracharya. Even though Sankar does not belong to the Vaishnava or personalist cult, so Narayan Para Avyakta, Prabhupada used to always say, he's a Para Avyakta, means he is Para, he is not of this world. Sankaracharya used to say. The Atharva Ved Maha Upanishad also states only Narayan existed in the beginning when neither Brahma or Shiva nor fire nor water nor stars nor sun nor moon existed. Okay, so this statement comes Upanishad like eko have Narayana asit na Brahma na Ishano napo agni na vayu neme dva prithvi na nakshatrani na surya sa ekaki nara eva. So eko vai Narayana asit. So it is said that before creation, actually, who was there? Narayan. Before creation, nothing was there. कोई शिव भगवान नहीं थे, कोई चंद्र नहीं थे, कोई इंद्र नहीं, कोई नहीं था. Nobody was there. Even in the in Srimad Bhagavatam, Chatushloki Srimad Bhagavatam, अहम एवासम अग्रे नान्यद् यस्यत् असत् परम पश्चादहम यदत्ते च यो सो अवशिष्येत सो असम्यहम. I am not able to recite properly, but it's like that. अहम एवासम एवाग्रे नान्यद् यस्यत् असत् परम. So सद असद कुछ नहीं था पहले, केवल अहम एवास अग्रे, I was there. Who is saying? Vishnu is telling or Narayan is telling to Brahma, सबसे पहले मैं था, तुम ब्रह्मा तुम भी नहीं थे, मैं था. अहम एवासम एवाग्रे नान्यद् यत्सत् असत् परम, पश्चात एवं इसके पश्चात भी, ये जो सृष्टि जब खत्म हो जाएगी तो मैं ही रहूंगा. और अभी भी जो मैं आप तो देख रहे हो कि ब्रह्मा तुम मेरे से निकल के आए हो, तुम भी मैं ही हूं, मैं ही तुम हूं. Actually, Krishna can say like that. Krishna is saying, even right now also I am there. You are my part and parcel, so I can say you are me only. So Krishna is saying, right now also I am there, before also I was there, and after finishing of this creation also I will be there. So I am there. This is the first sloka of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chatushloki. Srimad Bhagavatam is comes in the second canto. So this is also confirmed in so many Upanishads, that Eko vai Narayana Asit, na Brahma, na Ishano, na Apo Agni, na Vayu. And then after, okay, nobody was there, then no other further clarification, no. Again, Upanishad says, Narayana Brahma Jayate, Narayana Rudro Jayate, Narayana Indro Jayate, Narayana Prajapati Prajayante, Narayana Dwadasa Aditya Rudra Vasavaha Sarvani Chandamsi, Narayana Eva Samut Padayante. So then they are saying, after creation, means after Narayan impregnated the mother nature, then he further created whom? Brahma, then Rudra, then Indra, then Prajapati, then Dwadas Aditya, Rudra, Vasus. All these kind of people are also created. So Vedas mentioned both the things. Before nobody, and after creation started, Krishna only created everything. So then that is why he is a supreme person. So they do not have complete knowledge of me because they are covered by my illusory energy. You see, it is also stated in the Varaha Puran, Narayan is the supreme personality of Godhead, and from him the four-headed Brahma was manifested, as well as the Rudra, who later became omniscient. Okay, so till this we'll do today, and Madhav Seva and Mano Seva will discuss tomorrow. So good news for everyone that we have postponed the submission of open book till 21st. Because yesterday only he called me, Adi Bhaganpur. So I said I have no issue. So 21st is the date.
Open book is 16. Open book is 16. Exam is on
16, huh? Okay, 16. Open book is 16. Then when is the closed book is there? Huh? 21?
21. Yes.
Okay. And only 2 slokas are there from Isopanishad, correct?
Yes, sir.
2 slokas for memorization. How many? 2? 2 only?
2. Yes, sir. 2.
Prabhuji, it is 22nd of July, the closed book assessment, and the open book is 16th of July.
Okay, 22nd. Okay. So I have full faith in all the attending devotees here that 2 slokas is nothing for you, because we are reciting in all the Bhakti Shastri classes all 18 mantras. So nobody should fail to recite 2 mantras, and that they are very simple mantras. So please practice it, and if possible, you can remember all 18. It is very good. Okay. Any short question here?
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, this question, can I ask about this question paper and like how to attempt, I mean, the kind of paper pattern, what we are going to have? Because I've requested, and I think Adi Bhagwan Prabhu has agreed that I can give the exam on 15th itself, because I'm not there on that weekend of 21st and 22nd. So I just wanted to know, Prabhu, like what is the kind of paper pattern? The questions have already been mentioned in that initial PDF which was sent, but can you just elaborate like what kind of questions and what paper pattern is?
Tomorrow I will do. I personally have not.
In handbook it is written in detail.
Actually.
Everything is written. In handbook it is written in detail.
Yes,
Okay.
handbook it is written, but even after writing, many people don't understand. So we have to explain to everyone. So tomorrow I will see and try to explain. Okay. I have not gone through it.
Okay.
I will see. And so basically, Prabhuji, you want to know about open book? How and closed book, so you are all writing. Open book, you want to know?
No. Yeah, Prabhu, maybe you can just guide.
Pattern
like,
you want to know?
Yeah, kind of pattern, like what kind of, because questions have already been mentioned in that PDF, so it is like very inclusive. I just wanted to know that when we are preparing, on what lines we have to prepare, what things we have to consider.
Okay. That tomorrow I will tell about it.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yes, Arun Prabhu. Yes.
Guruji, we hear about that Brahma, like Krishna created Brahmaji, Vishnu, And but like, what is the explanation for Shivji? Like, does he come in Rudra or what? How is it? Like how Shivji exists?
See, Lord Shiva is also one of the Rudra actually. Yeah. So Sadasiva is there, he is eternally existing. But then these all 11 Rudras in this material universe, they come and go. Once the universe is finished, then they go. Again, universe is created, they also come. So one thing is there, this Lord Shiva, this tattva of Lord Shiva is mysterious. He is not living entity as well as he is not Narayana. So therefore confusion happens many times. So living entity is not fully independent, he is a dependent. And Lord Shiva is also not fully independent, he is also dependent, but he has more independence than all of us. And he is not Vishnu Tattva, but he is the Vishnu who has touched Maya, and like Vishnu never touches Maya, but the Vishnu who touches Maya, he gets transformed, that is Lord Shiva. Like a milk, when it is touched with dahi, it transforms into dahi. So Lord Shiva is this only, Lord Shiva. To manage this whole material manifestation, and he becomes the husband of Durga. So then the glance of Vishnu is called Sambhu. The glance which impregnates the mother nature, that only is a Shiva. That is a Sambhu, that glance. So that Sambhu is the Lord Shiva in this material world. Okay. So he is the glance of Lord Vishnu only, but Vishnu never touches Maya. But Vishnu's form which touches Maya and becomes somebody else, that is Lord Shiva. You have to understand in this way.
Like when we say that Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh are the predominating deities, so like what do we refer to when we say that? Like
yes, they are predominant. They are deities of creation, maintenance, and annihilation. These three things are always there in material world. There is a creation, there is a maintenance, and annihilation. And who is conducting all these three? So Brahma is doing creation, Lord Shiva annihilation, and maintenance is done by Lord Vishnu. And basically these three are what? These are the avatars. So these are also avatars of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we come to, and Vedas also say they are non-different from the Lord, because Lord empowers these all three. Like Vishnu is Vishnu himself, but Brahma is also not less empowered. He is also empowered almost like Vishnu actually. But still Brahma knows where is his limit. When he sees that some demon is causing a lot of problem, he approaches Lord Vishnu, he prays to him. And Lord Shiva is also highly empowered. So therefore they are also considered as equal. But if we consider them equal and then worship inequality with the Lord, that becomes offense once again. So they are equal. They are avatars of the Lord, empowered by the Lord, with the equal potency that you can do a lot of things, but still they are not equal with the Lord. They are presiding predominantly.
From Bhagavatam, we understand that although Brahma is called as creator, he is secondary creator, because Lord Vishnu only creates first 8 elements, like five senses and mind and impulsive. So he is secondary creator, even not primary creator.
Yes. So this is spoken by Lord Brahmaji to Narad Muni. I am simply like a gardener, and Lord Vishnu is putting the seed. I am simply putting the water. जैसे कोई माली होता है, वो पानी डालता है किसको? बीज को. So he is saying कि actually the whole creation का बीज डाला है विष्णु ने, मैं केवल पानी डाल रहा हूँ. I am simply putting the water. So the whole creation is done by Lord Vishnu, but the medium through whom he is doing is through Brahma. So it is like that. So this is mentioned. Narad Muni asks questions to Lord Brahma, are you the supreme? He says, no, actually I am not the supreme. Many people think that I am supreme. I am not supreme. Actually, it is all done by Lord Narayana. But I am simply putting water in the seed what he has given. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhishya kripa sindhu vevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah ananta koti vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, we'll end here. Hare Krishna.